Well, once a year, my boiler that I have that heats all the floor for the shop, it needs service. So I'm going to go over on how you service a boiler. So this is an IBC boiler, and I have an error code, as you can see right there. Low airflow. There we go. Low airflow. I look up here, I've got it serviced. Looks like I serviced it in November a year ago, and we're at the very end of December right now. So what we got to do, we got to open her up. And also you can see here my temperature. She is not heating anything right now. So to service this, we're going to pull the whole fan assembly out. There's a flame tube in here that we got to take out and we're going to clean. So we're going to just disassemble this and clean that all up and put it back together. So here we go. Before we get started, you got to make sure we kill the power to it. And we're going to be taking the gas line off up here. So we got to make sure we get the gas turned off. So I have the gas turned off right here. We're going to start out by disconnecting a few things. We're going to be disconnecting the igniter. There's a ground wire running down to that. We can unhook that right there. The gas valve power, we're going to take that right over to the brain box and disconnect it there. Some of the stuff just comes right off like that. We're going to set that out of the way, and then we're going to pull the gas line off. And then there's a 10 millimeter wrench that we got to take those off around. Okay, first we're going to take the cover off. They make a little cover here removable to be able to lift out that gas valve. So we're just going to pull that off. Then we can get in there a little bit better. So our igniter cap, just pull that off in the ground. Makes that real easy. And there's just two wires over here we're going to disconnect on the gas valve itself, like that. Double check, make sure you got your gas turned off. This is an LP. We don't have natural gas here. Just like that. Then I use a little gear wrench. Makes it real handy for pulling these off. So I'm going to go around all those. I'm not going to keep shooting on that. Okay, so here's our vacuum line. You're going to pull that off. I took the 8 nuts off, the studs all the way around. Gas line's removed. Our gas valve is unplugged. There is another wire harness back here for the motor. Unplug that. And another one right there. Pull those off. Now this whole assembly should just pop up, come right out of here. Just like that. Pull that off. Set that back in there for now, just so I don't, right up here maybe. So this is what plugs up, right here. So the flame tube, so the flame comes in here and heats this up. And this is what gets dirty, so it's not allowing enough air. So when I service it, what I'm going to do is take a very fine wire brush and just kind of clean that out a little bit. And then take compressed air and blow it out. You can see on this side, there's quite a bit of debris on there. And then I'll clean up our flame sensor right here, and then inspect that and make sure we've got that all cleaned out. Okay, I like to clean that burn chamber in there. So I dump a little water in there. And then take a wire brush and just kind of clean up all those little sediments all around there. Kind of just get in there and scrub it down really good. And then just kind of rinse that stuff out, and those sediments will settle in the trap, and we'll clean that out in a little bit. Okay, on this flame tube, you kind of want to pull that off. There's 6 screws around there. Pull that flame tube off when you're using that compressed air to clean that. Same way when you have that off, go in and clean up your flame sensor a little bit. There just gets to be a little bit of a buildup of stuff on there. So we're going to try to put this back in there. Something like that. Excuse me. Hook up some wires. The motor's got two of them on here, 2 electricals, some sensors, and some power unit. Where's our other one here? There, take that. This gets hooked up. I'm just gonna hook this stuff back up. Rebolt that into place. Hook our gas line back up, our vent tubes back up, and then we're ready to fire it. Okay, so I got this thing pretty much all back together, I think. Got all electrical hooked up. This vacuum hose, make sure you get that hooked back up. When I first got it, it was in here underneath that zip tie, and it was actually pinched. And I had that error code, and that's all it was on the first time around right after it was installed. I had the HVAC company that put it in. They were out 2 times, couldn't figure it out. And here that thing was just pinched. It was allowing that sensor to sense the air pressure or the vacuum. So just make sure that that hose isn't kinked somewhere. So we're just energizing it, see if it goes, see if it takes off. Don't forget to clean the trap out. That'll fill up with some garbage in there. It's making noise. Yeah. So anyway, I guess that's the service work. I would say just when you have the air reading down here, just make sure you go in and clean that flame tube out first of all before you start checking any of the other circuitry, because that's where the first time I did it, I got kind of hung up on it. I started chasing a whole bunch of other things when all it was just that flame tube was plugged up. So you can see right here, that's our heat output. That's raising, so we've got a good fire in there right now, right into the chamber there. So I guess that's all I have for today. Thanks for watching. If you like it, give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and click that little bell so you get notifications. So we like fixing stuff, flying airplanes, driving equipment, and fixing. Adios. Just a reminder, I am not licensed to do any of this. So take it with a grain of salt.